Hello and welcome to another live show from Inner Preservation with me, Ollie. Today I will be talking about anxiety and how to overcome it, running through things that will help you remain calm and relaxed the natural way, using a variety of tips and techniques. So first of all, I'd like to talk about understanding anxiety. Anxiety is one of the most common mental health disorders at present, with 1 in 6 adults experiencing it in their lifetime. Some people may feel too ashamed to admit that they have an anxiety problem, whilst others aren't even able to recognise theirs. The severity of its symptoms varies dramatically, but what most might not realise is that we can all experience anxiety every day because we need it to some degree to survive. Anxious feelings are good for us and are there to protect us from threats. Anxiety will help us meet our deadlines at work and deal with life's emergencies. However, someone may be experiencing it as a disorder when they begin to notice that this emotion is being taken to the extreme, in situations that don't even pose any threat at all. It is merely a false alarm, a chemical change in the body that is preparing them physically and emotionally for danger. Anxiety is well intentioned, but often misinformed. It is important that we understand that we are able to reduce anxious feelings and overcome them by balancing our reactions with rational thought and understanding. No matter what situation we find ourselves in, no matter how terrifying, transforming it into something manageable is well within reach. So, cope with anxiety by removing the pressure. It is important to understand that how you process and handle situations directly impacts how much anxiety you experience. People who feel like they have more control over their lives tend to have better mental health. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me with my throat today. I've had a bit of a sore throat all week, so just bear with me. It is common in people that suffer from anxiety to put off starting tasks and daily activities because they are afraid or just don't feel they're ready enough. Indecisiveness seems to be another facet attributed to anxious people, which together can lead to significant amounts of time being wasted where things just don't get done. An effective way to overcome indecision and lack of control is to just do whatever you need to do, even if it doesn't go to plan. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly the first time. It will speed up your decision making and catapult you straight into action. Anxiety can leave you feeling paralysed with indecision and frightened to even start something. It's important to lower the standards that you set yourself, because if they are too high, you will stress yourself out and put off doing something altogether. Doing it badly the first time will free you up to get started. You might find that you only want to get things done perfectly, waiting for the right time to start. This can be daunting and stressful. So removing that pressure will make it much easier to get it finished. Whether it turns out good or bad, you can always improve on the situation later on. When you look back at it, you'll realise that actually getting started and doing what you needed to do was not as painful as putting it off. Another thing that people often really struggle with in depression as well as anxiety is negative self-talk and how to overcome that. So, if you had a friend that always put you down, made fun of you, and pointed out everything that you did wrong, you would want to get this person out of your life, right? People who suffer from anxiety will spend much of their day thinking about what they've done wrong, their worries, and how bad they are feeling. You might have noticed that this is something that you do. Certainly is something I've done in the past and still do today. Recognizing it is the first step towards changing how you think about yourself and eventually becoming confident enough to beat anxiety. It is important that you start being kinder towards yourself. Try to develop conscious awareness about what you are doing and when you are negative self-talking. The more supportive you are, the better chance you will have of healing your discomfort inside. So, a perfect way to do this is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for any mistakes that you might have made in the past. Forgive yourself if you weren't able to muster up the courage to speak to someone about something important or to make that speech. Forget about all the embarrassment that anxiety has caused you, because your true self has so much more to experience than just hardship. When you forgive yourself for all of your mistakes, you will start receiving the compassion and empathy that you need. It will be difficult to heal until you start doing this. So next time you put yourself down, remember to be mindful about what you are doing and forgive yourself. Something else I want to talk about, another little subsection to this video, is panic attacks. We all get them. Quite often it's anxiety driven, and you can kind of deal with them in the same kind of way. Wherever you are, these are things you can do. If you're on a train, a busy train, for example, or you're about to do a speech or going to an interview, you're really worried, and you start feeling the panic come on, in the heart, the palpitations, the sweating. This is what to this day, I still get them all the time, and this is something I learned from somebody else, but I wanted to write it down and just share it with you guys. So, how to deal with panic attacks. There are so many different levels to anxiety, ranging from mild to extreme symptoms. Some people won't even recognize that they are suffering from it, whilst others can become completely consumed by it. Anxiety can manifest itself in a number of different ways, with panic attacks being one of the most extreme forms. If you are someone that frequently gets panicked and consequently feel that you are losing control in what you do in your life, rest assured that you are not alone. It is estimated that almost 15% of people have experienced a panic attack at some point in their life. So it is important to know what you can do to minimize them without necessarily relying on medication. Antidepressant medications not only carry side effects, but have a small success rate compared with cognitive approaches in this field, this area. In the long term, you are more likely to overcome panic disorder if you adopt a new way of thinking about it. Recognizing it and accepting the fear will force you to overcome and face your problems face to face. Avoiding places and situations that provoke your anxiety will only delay your recovery. If you are prone to attacks, do not feel ashamed to speak about them with people that you trust. The next time you feel an attack coming on, don't fight it. Look at it as if you were at sea. Don't try to struggle against the waves, because you will only exhaust yourself. Instead, just allow the tide to gently carry you back to shore. It may feel unnatural at first, but remember that fear can't hurt you. It can only make you stronger. So, here's an affirmation exercise for anxiety. If you find that you're having negative thoughts more often than not, this could be in turn impacting your confidence, mood, and outlook on life. If you suffer from negative self-talk and negative thoughts, you may discover that you are living out these self-fulfilling prophecies. It is important from now on that you do the opposite and start to create a positive narrative to your life. Affirmations are a fantastic tool that you can use to increase the likelihood of overcoming anxiety. Deep down, every one of us has the potential to achieve all possibility and to conquer the challenges that stand in our way. Over time, affirmations will help guide you to realize that you are capable of so much more than you think. Excuse me. Positive statements are used to reprogram the subconscious mind. They will enable you to overcome self-sabotaging, anxious thoughts and help you to make positive changes when repeated often enough. When you affirm these statements, you must believe that you already believe in them, and they apply to you, and that you're experiencing them in the present moment. Really try to feel the feeling and the emotion of the statement. And why it's so important to repeat these as often as you can is, it's like anything really. We learn through repetition. The first 7 years of our life, we are the most malleable. And, what did you do at school? We used to do something called look, cover, write, check. So we would look at a word, cover it up, try to emulate that word again, write it down, and check that we got it right, we spelt it correctly, and so on. And I remember doing this every single morning at school and thinking, my goodness, it's just relentless, Why do we need to do it this much? I never used to know all the 26 letters of the alphabet, but through sheer persistence, we all do now, right? Well, most of us will. And it's repetition, repetition, repetition. It's the most important thing. It's the best way to program your mind. Things come far more naturally when you do this in your first 7 years or as your child, because we just tend to, like languages, right? Some children can speak 3 languages before they're 10 or more. It's much easier to soak up. We're in a state of, I believe it's theta, and that is a state where you are so much more susceptible. And after about 14 years of age, you'll have to kind of just repeat. And it's like driving tests, right? When you take your driving test, you had to learn for so long, and you kept making the same mistakes over and over again. And it's repetition, repetition, repetition. That is the most important thing, I think. So when you're affirming these statements, like I said, you must believe that they already apply to you. because that belief is what is going to help with your law of attraction. So really try to feel the feeling and the emotion of the statement. When you're affirming, the more specific you are with what you want, the better. Practice them every day, morning and night, perhaps in front of a mirror. Having your affirmations written down and sticking to them will help. Try these statements or personalize them to suit you better. These following things I'm about to say. Number 1, I am safe and under no threat from the world. 2, I am calm, happy and content. 3, I am in charge of how I feel today, and I choose happiness. 4, there's no obstacle that I cannot overcome. 5, I inhale confidence and exhale fear. There's 5 to get you going there, and like I said, adapt them to any personal situations that you might be facing. So over time, you'll start to notice small positive changes in your thought patterns as you begin to build your confidence and calm your anxiety. So, excuse me. This next part, I want to talk about what I was talking about earlier, and I want to tell you one of these techniques. So when you feel like you're having a panic attack, or just, when you're just generally feeling anxious. So unfortunately, fear and anxiety can creep up on you at any time when you least expect it. Even when you think you have all of your triggers covered, new sensations or experiences can leave you feeling overwhelmed. You might feel that anxiety can hinder your performance at times when you need to impress, such as interviews or competitions. Noticing the lead up to these feelings can be the key to your success in overcoming them. There is a quick and easy technique that will help you to calm your nerves, reduce your anxiety levels, and gain a sense of coherence. This practice doesn't require meditation or even sitting down. The coherence technique can be used during times of transition, between meetings, or going into work. There is a fantastic go-to exercise that can reduce anxiety when you need to be at your best. This technique is particularly useful in your anxiety peaks when travelling or before important communications, such as speaking to someone about a problem, for example, if that's what you deal with. Because I know a lot of people that get anxious about when they need to convey certain information that they just, they won't feel comfortable about it. And that can bring on anxiety as well. So you should look at this approach as a tool that can enable you to articulate yourself in the best possible way, given the right situation. So take a moment before you continue to relax and gather your thoughts. Just sit there in silence for 10 seconds or so. So, you've gathered your thoughts now. I'd like you to begin by drawing your full attention to the center of your chest. And then moving that awareness to your heart. Feel it beating. Now imagine that you are able to breathe in and out through your chest, and visualize a funnel of light emerging from it as you do so. Take long, deep breaths, slower than usual, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Find a nice, easy rhythm and stick with it. If you find your thoughts drifting elsewhere, count your breaths on every exhale. As you continue heart-focused breathing, make a sincere attempt to experience a feeling of appreciation or care for someone or something in your life. You should try to remember a time of appreciation or love for someone close, a family member, or your love for a pet. Really try to feel that feeling and emotion of love and gratitude. Are you doing this as you're doing this? Are you increasing your coherence level and your nervous system is synchronizing? Regenerative hormones are being released into your body, and signals from the heart to your brain are moving through your emotional centers. If you practice this enough, you'll be able to shift anxious emotions in any given situation and overcome it for good. Now that's a really, really good technique, and I can say that works. Like it really does work. Some people, really struggle with travel. Excuse me. And that can really, really bring on people's anxiety, whether they don't like going on the underground in London, for example, on a subway, or they don't like getting on a normal train, or they find buses far too packed. This stuff really works, because I used to struggle with claustrophobia, I still do, but more so on the underground, on the tube. And sometimes you get crushed, and I'd just be there sweating, and it's the end of the world, but close your eyes. It really helps. For me personally, it really helped with earphones as well. I'd put on some earphones or my headphones and close your eyes. Obviously you want to know what stop you're getting off at, right? So do it at a time when you know you've got enough time. And I just used to be able to zone out completely, and my heart rate would change, I'd stop sweating, and of course you've got to open your eyes again, and you've got to realise you're back on this train of packed people. But start it off when your eyes are shut, and once you've felt like your heart rate's transitioned a bit, open your eyes and then keep it going, and eventually you'll be able to do it with your eyes shut. So yeah, that's a very, very important thing, because anxiety is very useful, and this is a question that's just come up. I see it on the ticker there. Yes, anxiety can be useful. It's there to help us at the end of the day. It is a fight or flight technique that is used for only certain times. I think anxiety is useful in a sense that it was for our ancestors far more than what we are today, because you're talking about short bursts of high stress levels when you could be under attack, you could be being hunted, you're relying on your meal, whatever it is. So you need these high intensity bursts of anxiety to help you with certain things. But of course now life has changed, we don't technically really come into fight or flight situations every day, or even like on a weekly basis, right? So it's useful for certain things, but I don't think anymore, because quite often we're in stressful situations most of the time, and for us to be, stress is the biggest killer, right? It's the root of all illness and all disease. So that anxiety, it's just in the background all the time nowadays, because we've got to worry about rent. Now it's the cost of living crisis, and then the war in Ukraine, COVID before. There's always seems to be a topic for you to worry about, which is very unfortunate, but I guess it's the way the world is and the way the media will work. But because of that, you'll find yourself in these levels of stress perpetually, all the time, and it's not good for your heart, it's not good for your cells, because stress can transform cells, it can mutate them, and obviously it's where you start getting certain things start growing in your body, whether it's cancers, tumours, or whatever it is. So yes, it can be useful, certainly, for certain situations, and if you're able to manage those levels, then you've mastered it, right? By using these techniques in this video today, I'm really hoping that you do go and try these. You'll notice the difference, because I really did. So yeah, just try them as often as you can, and the affirmations really help as well. Like I said, it's all just about reprogramming your brain with repetition, right? So for now, I'm just going to go for a quick break, and afterwards I'm going to come back and do a mindfulness meditation for anxiety. So this is all going to be on our Spotify and everything else as well, and you can get this meditation. It's already been recorded, so you can watch that. Hello and welcome back, guys. So as I was saying before, this is a mindfulness meditation for anxiety, and you will find it on our Spotify, and you'll find it on our YouTube channel, on the Hydra Studios channel, and also the Inner Preservation YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out if you're not already on it. So here we go. Hello and welcome to this mindfulness meditation for anxiety, which has been designed to help you relax and stay calm when you need it most. It is important to always remember that you have the ability to change the way you feel inside and reduce your symptoms with simple but effective techniques. So I'd like you to begin by finding somewhere quiet where you won't be disturbed. Sitting comfortably on a chair or lying on a bed. It is often good practice to enjoy a long hot bath beforehand to calm your body and mind, preparing yourself for relaxation. As you lie comfortably, I'd like you to close your eyes and start paying attention to your breath. Breathe in deeply through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. On the top of each breath, hold it for 3 seconds and then count to 5 as you breathe out. Keep your breathing like this, and when you begin to feel familiar with the pattern, silently say the word relax on every out-breath. Give yourself permission to just be with yourself, at ease and in the moment. This is your special time that you deserve to relax as you have earned it. try to clear your mind of any thoughts that might be with you at this present moment. Concentrating on your breathing will help, but don't worry if you get any unwanted thoughts come in. Just acknowledge